Good evening, Lulu. That is a big question. Everybody now is asking where President Nkurunziza is, because he left Tanzania, like we said in the story, without coming for the summit. Indeed, we saw him in Tanzania, and after that it was announced that there is a coup inside Tanzania, he left the country. However, the borders in Burundi are all closed, so including the airport. He was unable to land. We understand that his plane turned around. Initially, we had been told that he's going to come back to Tanzania. In fact, we have been waiting in the hotel where he was staying, but we have not seen him. Now, other reports indicating that he may be moving to a neighboring country, which we cannot disclose right now for security reasons and because we have not been clear to say that, but he may be not coming here and moving to another country. But it is clear now that he may not be able to return to Burundi anytime soon.
Now, Sarah, what is the response from the leaders who were in the meeting when the news came through? What is the reaction from them?
It's interesting. When the coup happened, a lot of us who are not inside the closed-door meetings that were taking place actually knew before the heads of states who were gathered here knew. And so what happened is they started walking into the meeting one by one. President Kikwete of Tanzania, who is the chairman of the East African Community, was the first person to come in, and then he was followed by the others. And they stayed in for about an hour before they actually knew that the coup had taken place. And so all of them came out, and you could see people gathered in small groups, including the many ambassadors representing various countries, Western countries, and they were meeting in small groups and trying to make calls to Burundi, which of course at that time could not go through. And so what happened later is they went back into a closed-door meeting, and all of them have come out only through President Kikwete, condemned the coup. The only other person we managed to speak to is Deputy President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, who has said that Africa, and indeed South Africa, does not support unconstitutional takeover of governments, and he says a better solution would have been a political solution to the ongoing crisis in Burundi. Of course, you could see shock in the faces of most of the leaders who were here because they thought that a political solution would be reached during this meeting.
Now, Sarah, with regards to the closed meeting and the reaction from the South African Deputy President and the other leaders, is there any indication of a plan of action going forward, just apart from condemnation by the leaders?
Well, they said that elections should not go on. They also said that they will be meeting in a week's time, a week to 2 weeks' time, to be able to begin dialogue between the warring factions to see if they can get a political solution. However, they were very clear that the Arusha agreement, which prohibits President Nkurunziza going for a third term, must be honored. But they were also clear that even if elections is postponed, it must not go beyond the term of President Nkurunziza. Now, we wait to see what happens, seeing that there's no government in place now in Burundi, and with President Nkurunziza still not able to speak as yet to say what turn of events, what he plans to do following the turn of events in his country.
Now, Sarah, has any contact been made by the people who are leading the coup in Burundi?
Well, we understand they have spoken to the media inside Burundi, and what they say is that they planned to take over the government the time they knew that President Nkurunziza was leaving the country, and they said that they knew it would be almost impossible for them to take over while he was inside the country. And so they said the only other option they had was to take over immediately he left, and they said that is exactly what they did. And they are clear that the reason they did this is because initially they thought that the East African Community Summit would be able to give a solution. But when he spoke after the Constitutional Court ruling, they knew, according to them, that they were dealing with a person who had a hardline stance and was not willing to step down or to let another person from his party take over running instead of him.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Lulu.
That was our East Africa correspondent, Sarah Kimani, on reports that Burundian president has been toppled in absentia while in neighboring Tanzania.